Now, I just heard a couple days ago that Mexico is now considering backing their currency with silver. That is an interesting statement. Mexico is considering backing their currency with silver. I gotta tell you, if you've never seen the documentary The Secret of Oz, which is really a remake of The Money Masters, which is also a very good documentary, but it kind of tightens up a couple little issues. So it's a kind of a remake of that. So it's The Secret of Oz. Guarantee you can find it on the internet. It's not that old of a documentary. And it goes on to talk about the monetary system and this cycle. They try paper money, you know, fiat currency backed by nothing, and then ultimately that cycle ends with whatever currency being backed by precious metals. So they try it for a while, they create these boom and bust cycles that, you know, can be devastating. Of course, on the bust cycle, you don't want to be a part of that, but you don't really have a choice. It depends on what industry your career is in many times, you know, whether it's going to be affected as badly as other areas, you know, industries. But the bottom line is they create these boom and bust cycles. And usually there's a big bust cycle at the end of the cycle, kind of like the finale, the grand finale. And just looking at things, you know, I don't think it's too hard to figure out that the grand finale is definitely coming. It's next. Of course, the only issue is when. Is it 2016? Is it going to be 2015? When exactly are they going to pull this off? The bottom line is, you know, yeah, it would be nice to know exactly when it's going to happen. And if I was an elitist, or, you know, had a friend that was, you know, buddies with the Rockefellers or something, and I could get some information, I might, you know, yeah, that's all nice. The bottom line is, no, you don't have a friend like that, neither do I. And even if you had a friend of a friend, are they really going to share that kind of information with them? No telling. I wouldn't think so. But if you know the cycle, and you know how it's going to end, and then you know how the new cycle is going to begin, because the last cycle began the same way as well, which is currencies being backed by gold and silver, then wouldn't it make sense for you to have gold and or silver in advance of the cycle getting here? The answer, of course, is yes. Especially if you've been watching old J-Snip 4 for any period of time. You know the answer is yes. And I'll go a step further, as I always do with this statement. Gold or silver? Go with silver. Why not gold? Because gold is quite expensive. An ounce of gold is $1,350 roughly. Right now, an ounce of silver is $21.40 or somewhere around there. And there's what they call the silver to gold ratio that has been in existence since silver and gold have been being mined. And that ratio throughout all the centuries and centuries and centuries has always been somewhere around 16 to 1, sometimes 20 to 1. Never really fluctuated much more than that. So 16 ounces of silver would buy 1 ounce of gold. 20 ounces of silver would buy 1 ounce of gold, if it was the 20 to 1 ratio at that particular time in history. The question is, for easy math right now, $20 silver instead of 21 times 20 is 400. So that would be a 20 to 1 ratio. Assuming gold is $400, right? 20 ounces times 20 to 1 ratio is 400. Is gold $400 right now? No, matter of fact, it's 3 times that amount. A little more than 3 times that amount. 1,300 plus. So there's clearly a problem with the ratio, right? So you would think, again, history talking, if we're going back to this old standard, things are probably going to realign like they used to. So if we have the price of gold and silver going up in the future because all the countries of the world decide, yeah, we need to start backing our currencies by gold, price of gold and silver is absolutely going to go up, because the amount of gold above ground that people are using, countries are using, compared to the amounts of debt, for example, today. The trillions and trillions of dollars, the whole world is in debt, mostly America, but let's just focus on the world for a minute. China too. There's not enough gold and silver combined at current prices to back that debt. Not even remotely close. It's so far off, it's like in another planet. I mean, the amount gold and silver would have to rise in order to back the amount of debt created today, that's in existence today. It would be astronomical. So the point is, yeah, everything's going to probably deflate ultimately, but one thing has to inflate, and that's gold and silver, in order to back all the debt that must be created to keep the world afloat in the future. So it'd be smart to have some gold and silver. Take care.